Anyway, so like I was saying before, the XDE 40 order will start to arrive apparently in June. In March, we're gonna get some more LFS HEVs, and then the diesels are in September. We also have an option order for XD 40s, and I think that's it, right? I'm not too sure. But for Beeline, they have an option. They bought a XDE 40 order with an option order of XDE 35s. And as for um, Nice Bus is being planned to get Gilligs. Right now, they recently got 2021 XN40 1980, which I've been trying to find this whole fucking time. But it always wants to fucking avoid me because that's how 1980 is. But yeah. So that's basically most of the updates. Hey, Cedric.
Hello, Sylveon. Yes, good evening, everyone. And especially like with the talk about XZE 40s, XN 40s, and because like what I'm very proud of, like Excelsiors are always my, favorite series of buses in any agency. And I always like encourage like many agencies to get Excelsiors. And because when it comes to Unified Industries, they seem to be like mostly the only company, especially after Nova Bus, to create these advanced design buses, especially like more efficient, more, everything that I expected. And plus and this also reminds me that back when I was younger, before in the year 2016, I was turning like 13, where I wasn't that much of an Excelsior fan that yet because of the Orion 7 next generation hybrids, and up until like since 2016 because of the Cuomo livery, the New York State themed XZ60s, the ones that came from 2015 through 2016 had started me off as an Excelsior fan, especially more of my rides on the 2015 XT40s, mainly on my nearest home route of the B7.
Okay. I'm more of a Nova person, as you guys might know. New Flyers are okay, not as bad as Gillig. I hate Gilligs, literally, and the fact that Nice Bus is getting them, what? No.
About Nova Bus, well, this also reminds me when it comes to the Nova Bus LFSs, it's like, well, like though we all know that mainly they came from Canada, and plus like, well, actually, first thing about the RTS where like it was like actually known to be like the first bus models of the history from Nova Bus, where like it's because due to the automobile, like because I do to myself, like since I was only 4 years old coming into the USA, like which was 13 years ago, it's like those things remind me like they're like automobile type buses, and they also remind me of like where back in my native coast of Haiti, where like we had those those vans like we could use as taxis that they're like the Toyota commuter vans, and that's what those buses reminded me, which is how like I just keep looking at these buses like as a toddler, where they don't seem to be like the actual buses for passengers, but just the actual buses as if we would think of them as taxis, vans. And then until 2011, like my first ride when it comes to the LFS series, well, though they have been existing in New York since 2009, but like my first ride on one of these LFSs was in 2011, actually on the B6 out of Over Park Depot, like through Canarsie with my dad's goddaughter. And then especially like when it comes to the LFS, it became like they seem to become like the first model to ever come with like okay in history with durability, and plus like through the channel of Nova Bus, it's like when it comes to durability, and this also contributes to one person who has his YouTube channel name of the Dream Journal, the Dream Journal, like projects where about why he loves Nova Buses over Excelsiors, which is because that he could pick like variety types of sources along with you know, like not only like especially like according to the design and these buses could really last like a longevity which they could last up to 23 years compared to the rest of the buses that we know can last up to 20 to 21 years, some up to 15 like recently the old gens. And also Sylveon, did you see my recent video about the Gen 2 old gens released?
I did not.
Yeah, well, it was premiered since 2 days ago for Valentine's Day. Well, actually today, though Valentine's Day is almost over. Yeah, I think it's already, yeah, it is almost over right now and going to be 38 minutes. And yeah, anyway, anything,
What do you think about Gilligs?
Gilligs? I actually don't have like any kind type of connection with them, especially but the ones from older times, like it's due to something about their designs. I feel I'm just like I don't really have a thought or anything. Like I'm just drained to be thinking about them.
What do you think about Beeline getting XDE 40s?
Well, when it comes to Westchester County, they're increasing their efforts to be like not yeah to be more eco-friendly.
What do you think about the new Celsior AV model?
This Excelsior AV will actually be my number one favorite compared to all of these other Excelsiors in New York City. Well, before the AVs, my most favorites right now are the New Flyer XE60s, 60-foot electrics. But with that, when it comes to the AVs, like the automated things, is that New Flyer is more of a genius to make us more safety, especially here in this busy city that we're in. Like I would demand, like I would kind of like, respectfully ask the MTA to order these, like let's say sometimes in the late 2020s, because in this city is because there's no courtesy of traffic or anything. And plus, like when it comes to braking, that the passengers don't have to deal with like standing up and falling to the floor due to the braking. And yes, and the operators will not have any trouble to be injured. And then when it comes to being crash proof, and it will save like more like at least $500 million of like of like accident costs, and also like health insurance costs like to any pedestrians and also to the passengers on the inside that have to get impacted by accidents, and especially like reduce like medical attentions to crowding up the hospitals.
Um, yeah. So, let's talk about subways. What do you think about the R211s?
The R211s, they're actually like the best match trains for the 2020 decade. Whereas like, they are themed because like, and did you recently see the video about me uploading the podcast talk about the R211s and the R262 orders?
I did not.
Okay, I thought you were one of those 6,000 people that watched them. But anyway, in that case, is that the R211s, they are really meeting like most of the expectations for the MTA. But the thing about like, the R211As, the articulated versions with accordions on the R211As, where it's something that it could have happened on all of the lines, which is because of crowding, like, complaints. And plus like we need these open gangways to really happen on all of the lines, the BMT lines. But actually, New York City it will be known to be one of the few next cities to have them. But like I saw the first agency where Toronto Transit Commissions are the first to get those open gangway cars, and the London stock could be the second. And also, I found that the STM, they have their recent models since I think 20 from between 2013 when they had their orders contracted until 2016 through 2017. They started receiving their new models in Montreal, which is called the Azores, like which is like made their only latest like cars with the open gangways. And especially like I rode that I rode their trains one time in 2019, which is what I was expecting to ride ever since the other last time I was there in 2016 and 2018. When because out of the few times I went to Canada for summer vacation, and so in 2019 became the best time I get to ride the Azores, and then they just give me and it gives me the vibe to ride for the R211s that I'm wishing I want to wish to ride in within the next 2 years, especially during my college years in the future.
I no longer have any questions.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm okay. I could just exit the live, so I'll let you have a good night and also happy Valentine's Day.
You too. Yeah, you heard it from um Cedric. And yeah, we're gonna end the live. Thank you for watching. And I'll probably put this on YouTube. So yeah.